Good day. Welcome to my Making Monsters tutorial. This little tutorial will show you how to build up a laboratory in the GeneticRim mod series and how to make your own genetic engineered monstrosities. So here we have a basic laboratory, and I'm going to start from the beginning with what you'll need. First off, you'll need the mods, of course, but like I said, we're going to start at the beginning. And next step is going to be the genetic engineering research to be found in the research menu under this rider. This is the basic technology which is necessary to make your first genetic engineered monsters. I'm going to explain all the other stuff around here in a minute. So when you have this one technology, you're already able to make monsters. So after this technology has been researched, you're having access to your laboratory tech. Out of all these furniture things, really important are the pulper, which is the #1 building in the chain, where you make organic pulp. This stuff is entirely made out of wood, and it's just 10 units of wood to make organic pulp, which looks then like this, which is basically just some organic growth compound, like the description says. It's just a basic ingredient in this process. So once this stuff is down, you're going over to the genetic extraction table, to be found like here, where you can actively extract genes out of corpses of animals. So we're going to delete those. You're going to need corpses from the animals, which are all shown in the recipe. And it's pretty simply said, if the animal you're having in your freezer is fitting under any of these categories, you can extract genes and combine them into new monsters. If they don't fall under this category, you're going to go for the non-specialized genes, which have to be recombined into some of those. So the options are limited, but I have to say the mod is surprisingly deep and vast in its options. Don't worry. This is the next step you're needing, and for those genes we're having a freezer setup, which is necessary because those genes are perishable goods. So that's another thing. Energy should be available. Count something like 1 or 1.5 megawatt for the laboratory complex. Overall, you're gonna need this amount of energy, depending on how many mods you have and on how big you build this whole laboratory. Every one of these benches needs power, so ultimately you're going to have some power needs. The gene pod, I'm going to explain that in a second, once we have extracted our first genes. We're having a rat in the freezer, so I'm going over to the genetic extraction table, and we're going to say extract genes from a rodent. So if you're not sure if the animal you're having is compatible, always just look into the recipe. It'll show you what you need. So here we go. I'm going to tell my good man John here to, well, he's hunting turkey. Well, John right now is collecting the other piece of genetic material. Well, it's swapped the order for a short second. So we're going to pick up some bird genes as well. But wait a sec. We have to administer this, administer some micromanagement into this. So there we go. Okay. I'm going to send, well, we're going to send Nicholas. So we're going to tell Nicholas, oh, I can't. Another thing, this is all intellectual work. So I'm going to look. Well, Roscoe would be the other person who's able to. He's feeding somebody who's wounded right now, so we're going to do it like this. And I'm going to allow the rat here. It's really important that you mark your genetic material animals in some way. Like I used the forbid function to save them from the butchering table. Oh my good friend, you're not sleeping now. You're extracting genes. So meanwhile, John is bringing the bird. There we go. So I'm immediately forbidding this one as well, to make sure nobody puts them into the soup. There we go. Orozco is heading over there. And he's having genetic material in his hands, which is not going into this room. So we're going into the stockpile zone here. I am using some mod to make things easier to find. It's the simple search bar. Wonderful tool, only can recommend it. So I'm going to call out this area to be the important area for genetic materials. Because, like I mentioned, these are perishable goods. There we go. Incubators. I don't want that incubators are getting stored in here. So I'm going to tell them here, incubators are not allowed. Can I change this right? Incubators are pretty much like eggs. I would describe them as eggs. So let's check it out. So we have genetic materials. We have these allowed, but the incubators are forbidden. Wonderful. Everything is working out as intended. So Orozco wants to sleep, but I'm not agreeing here. We're allowing the turkey as well, and setting up the bird bill now to make bird genes, and there we go. There goes the turkey. Okay. So, to combine these, you need an incubator. An incubator is being made at the extraction table out of a few units of steel and organic pulp. This is an empty egg, basically. And now we're heading over to the gene pod. At the gene pod, you can combine genetic material. You're having an array of recipes given, and we can research more, but these are all we have available at the moment. So we're looking for a combination of the animals we're having. So let's check it out. We're having rodent and bird. So let's see. That's chicken. Chicken is always also bird. So chicken leopard, that's what we're having. One empty incubator, chicken genetic, rodent genetic, there we go. So now we're calling Orozco to need material? My good friend, we're having this material. So why is he assuming he's not having the necessary materials? Ah, because the hauling bot was putting the incubator at the right spot. That's why. If something is being targeted by a hauling job, people are not realizing it's there anymore. So I strongly recommend to build your storages a little bit like this, or at least storage your genetic material ingredients somewhere in the vicinity of the laboratory, because as you've seen, there's a lot of things going on here. And there goes the process. The incubator has its own breeding time, and there goes the usual way on how to do monsters. So I'm going to let time run here for a second, and I'm going to go into the technology thingy here. So I'm going to pause. I'm a little bit nervous here, so I don't want to get interrupted by the storyteller. So here, this side here is all the extra mod packs I'm using. Like, this is all the extra genetic engineering, which is crossing other mod packs. Like, this is the part where you can combine alpha animals with the GeneticRim. This is where you combine the Rims of Madness with the and so on. Like, the mod maker did a great job on combining GeneticRim with a really huge amount of mod packs. I really adore that. Down here goes further. Humanoid genetic engineering. There you build crazy implants, like an ovipositor. You can let people lay eggs. Perfect for masochists. Insectoid genome, reptilian, and wait, that's wrong. So this is some extra recipes possible, also unlocking some human implants as well. And then goes more implants for your animals, and ultimately some really cool things like, well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but you can combine really crazy things. And it would really bust the frame of everything here. So I'm not going to show you guys what's coming out of this little egg in this episode. You're going to find the link to the whole playthrough series of my GeneticRim series down in the description below, where this laboratory is actually being used in. This tutorial now has shown you how to do monsters. You're needing these things, and that's all you basically need. You can expand what we're seeing here with reptilians and insectoids pretty easily, and later on there are also some really interesting things like genetic material. That's all I'm going to say. Also mechanoid genetic manipulation, wonderful stuff. Check it out, it's real fun. With these basics you've seen here, though, everything is being done. All you need is just some implantology, but that's just basic medicine. That's nothing worth to be explained deeper here. So I hope that helped you a little bit on understanding how this mod series works. Feel free to leave me comments with questions or any form of communication you desire, some thumbs up, or even a subscription to my channel if you want to support me and my work a little bit more. Thanks for watching, my friends, and goodbye.